Alright, we're taking a look today at a very fun self-mill combo deck. This is Kethis. Kethis combo, basically, is what people are referring to this deck as. And really what it is a deck that synergizes around the ability of Kethis, the Hidden Hand, a creature that discounts your legendary spells and allows you to exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard to give all legendary cards currently in your graveyard the ability to be played this turn from the graveyard. And the reason that this is relevant is because with things like either Emry or Kethis, we're able to loop Mox Ambers. And if we have Kethis on the battlefield, those Mox Ambers can be looped for infinite mana, which we can presumably use with our graveyard to win the game. Additionally, we have 2 Kinnons in the deck, which make our Mox Ambers into double Mox Ambers because they'll be tapped for 2 mana. So that is pretty huge. And we also use Delighted Halfling to make our spells uncounterable because a lot of them are legendaries. And this also doubles with Kinnon as well. Another card that we have 4 of is Rona, Herald of Invasion, which is a draw discard spell. It's a little bit worse in the face of Orcish Bowmasters, but being 3 toughness, if we can avoid those kind of draw hate effects, then she's pretty good. We have Emry in this deck. Emry is just here to mill us. But also, she's able to recur our Mox Ambers, which sometimes is useful. This deck runs Crucius as well. Crucius is going to help us find our Kethises. And now that he's been nerfed to be a 3-1, we have a pretty bad matchup against Orcish Bowmasters, but we are going to take his upside over his downside in this case. We're also running 2 Jarsels here, 3 mana 3/3 with the Intensity mechanic, so when it becomes combat, you basically can cast an increasing CMC 1, 2, 3, and so on spell. So we're going to want to, reuse our Fatal Push Delighted Halflings. We can get back our Kinnon and Ronas, and then we can play one of our many 3-drops here. So Jarsel's a pretty good card for value, and then we can even get one of our Jaces back if we want to. Of course, we have Kethis in this deck as well. And then finally, we have our Wincon and Jace Wielder of Mysteries, as we are a self-mill deck, and we have Jace the Perfected Mind as a milling card. Jace the Perfected Mind is actually huge in this deck because he represents 15 mill for yourself, and he is replayable, of course, through Kethis. So the main combo line in this deck here is to use Jace to say, go ahead and I'm going to mill a quarter of my deck, then I'll replay him with Kethis as I exile 2 cards from among the milled cards to recast my Jace, assuming that I have infinite mana with Mox Amber, and then I just continue to do that until I have no cards in library. Then we presumably have Jace Wielder of Mysteries in the bin, so we just go ahead and play him from graveyard with Kethis. It's a pretty simple combo, and once you know that your opponent can't stop you, then you have the win pretty much in the bag. Another thing that you can also do is mill your opponent out with your Jace. So that is just another way that you can win. So in terms of the mana base, we are pretty much just 5 colors here, so we need to be careful about that. And one thing that we can use to do this is Plaza of Heroes, a land card that is very good in decks that have legendary creatures at a high rate like we do. So we're able to add a mana of any color among legendary permanents you control, and we can also just straight up add 1 mana of any color if we're casting a legendary spell. Pretty cool. It also gives us some protection for our creature, which is nice. Mana Confluence, since we need to hit all these colors, and Great Hall of the Citadel is essentially a filter for this kind of stuff. And then we've just got 1 of every basic land type in case we need it, and then we are going for our Sands White color scheme here, as we only need 1 pip for Kethis. So that's the deck. Hope you guys enjoy this one. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by dropping a like on the video or subscribing to the channel if you're new. We are on our way to 500 subs, and it would help me out a lot if you would do that. So with that out of the way, let's hop into some games and see if we can combo some opponents out with Kethis Self-Mill. Alright, it is round 1. Let's try to do this thing. We actually have an uncounterable Kethis on turn 3, but more likely we're going to want to just get a Jace off on turn 4. The only issue is that we may not have that second blue pip, but that's actually not true because we have both Halfling and Plaza of Heroes. So this ends up being a very good hand. So we don't want to cast Kethis until we have the win pretty much ready to go. We'll need to play around counter magic and spot removal. Seeing that our opponent is in black, that might be bad, but seeing a turn 1 vampire instead of a turn 1 Thoughtseize, I'm feeling pretty solid. Alright, so we have a almost turn 3 Jace. A turn 3 Jace at, you know, max loyalty, that is. Alright, so we lose our halfling, that's fine. We're gonna have to play this one a little bit slower. I say that probably Blood Crypt in tapped, and then we get going with a Kethis next turn. Ooh, Howling Mine. So this might be a Bowmaster's kind of an angle here. Seeing our opponent is on 1 mana left, I'm almost saying that I want to just get a Jace out for less than max loyalty. I can plus my Jace. That might get dealt with. I think probably the move is actually just to go Plasma of Heroes into maybe Kethis. Or Crucius, actually. That means that my Mox Amber can now tap for red, so that's pretty solid. And then I'll need 1 blue mana here, which I can get through Great Hall, so I don't need to shock Breeding Pool. Actually, I'll discard a Jace and go lower. We don't need Jace until the end of the game, and we have 3 of them, so hopefully we just have to make sure that they don't get exiled. That's the only thing that can get us here. Alright, so opponent's got Shieldred, and their shields are down. We will not block Crucius. And let's go ahead and draw here. We'll take some damage with Shieldred, but that's okay. We'll actually take 4, but while not amazing, this will be okay. So here is this. And if we play Mox Amber, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Sorry, 6 mana, so I can play Kethis plus a Jace. So if we can hit a Mox Amber here with our Jace, then we can win the game. Oh, and because Kethis is out, Jace is discounted by 1, so we can actually get Jace on max, which is great. So we're going to go ahead and Jace minus 5. Target ourselves, and let's see what we mill. I'm not sure I saw a second, whatchamacallit, so that's fine. So it looks like we're going to have to just pass the turn here. We'll discard a land and draw, going greater. And we find Jarsel. Jarsel's not terrible. This is fine. We're going to take a decent amount of damage coming up here, so I'm thinking I might just block with Crucius. Assuming we don't die to a Shieldred trigger in our upkeep, then we can get out here. Ooh, dying with Kethis isn't, or having Kethis die is an issue. Okay, so that's okay. It is what it is. We do have Jarsel as a potential reanimation spell, so we can make something happen here. I gotta think about how I feel about going to 8 and then 4. I'm gonna use Crucius for 1 more turn and then I'll start blocking. So let's see. If I can actually Fatal Push their Shieldred, which is fine. So this is okay. We'll resolve. We'll draw a card, and we get a Rona as well. So let's go ahead and crack this for a green mana, using it to cast our Jarsel. Alright, then we are going to play a Plasma of Heroes here. We're going to move to combat, and we're going to cast our Fatal Push here, targeting Shieldred. That feels pretty solid, and I suppose we can just attack with our Crucius here, unless they play another Shieldred. But even if they do, we will die. I think we probably need to keep this back in play around Orcish Bowmasters, honestly. Orcish Bowmasters comes in, deals a damage to us, makes a 1/1, then Howling Mine in our upkeep, so we take 2 direct damage from Bowmasters. They would have a 1/1, a 1/1, and a 2/2. So I basically need to be able to block 2 things here, and even if they have removal, I probably would like to have Crucius stick around. So I won't attack here. Of course, we're going to combo kill our opponent anyway. I think we can go ahead and just drop out our Rona here as an extra thing to have. I'll get rid of Mana Confluence since we're likely not able to activate it. And we find back up Crucius, so now I'm super happy to chump block with my Crucius against their Vampire here. Of course, a Shieldred does kill us, so we'll just have to make sure that doesn't happen. They take out our Jarsoul, so we're still looking for another Kethis. Luna goes down, okay. And Murderous Rider comes out, sure. I will choose to block here, because we do have backup Crucius in hand. Another Kinnan is good, and we now have Fatal Push, so we will go ahead and use Fatal Push to kill their Murderous Rider. Sticking around at 4 life here. We are not yet out of it. Another Plaza of Heroes. Here's Kinnan, here's Crucius, and we'll discard our Great Hall of the Citadel to search for a 3CMC card, essentially. We find the Kethis, so next turn is potential combo turn. Is a potential combo turn where we go ahead and so the line that I'm thinking of is play Kethis, activate Kethis to ultimately cast out our Jace again. Our opponent has 1 ring protection now. They only have 2 mana up, so this could potentially be a win for us. We'll get Jace the Perfected Mine out, mill ourselves, hit a Mox Amber, and then storm off from there. Even if they have Bowmasters, we are okay. They need to have instant speed removal for Kethis. Another Howling Mine, and they're tapped out, which means that we should have this win. Go to our turn. We draw. 2 draws off of Howling Mine, that feels fine, and we find our Mox Amber off the top, which means that we have our opponent dead to rights here. So we will tap our Mox here, get a Kethis out, and we are going to start with Legend ruling our Mox Ambers here. And now we go ahead and activate Kethis. We're going to get rid of 2 things that we don't need. Crucius and Rona seem fine. Alright, and this Mox Amber comes out. Well, I should have cracked this for mana, but it's okay. We'll go ahead and play our Jace out of the graveyard. And we'll go ahead and minus for 5. Milling ourselves. And we only need to do this one more time. So let's go ahead and activate Kethis again. We'll get rid of Jace. Oh, no, not Jace. Kinnan and Jarsoul. Alright, now we have Jace the Perfected Mind. Target player knows 3 times X cards. Target ourselves. And that is our graveyard. We'll cast the Jace here. Oh, not that one. We want this Jace. Where is he? There he is. Here is our Jace, and we'll go ahead and uptick Jace, milling ourselves. And opponent's dead. We were able to combo them out. Definitely Kethis combo, once left to its own devices, can absolutely go off. I didn't do a very good job of it here, but to save some cycles, I basically just didn't involve cycling my Mox Ambers over and over. With Kinnan on the battlefield, I could have essentially just kept up all of my land-based mana open by just looping Mox Ambers for a bit, but we already had everything that we needed to kill our opponent, so it was just fine. In the future, though, if you do want to be really careful about that kind of stuff, I would recommend going through the loop of generating pseudo-infinite mana before going ahead and casting all the things out of your graveyard and doing your Jace things. So anyway, that was our round 1. Let's hop into round 2. Here we go. Alright, I think I like this hand. So we have uncounterable Jarsoul this turn. Opponent also on Delighted Halfling. We have an equivalent start. I think what I'll do here is just take them off of their play, potentially. No, what I'll do is... I'm wondering how I should order this. I do want to Fatal Push their creature to slow them down, but I can also just double Jarsil if I get him out this turn. I think what I'll do is Fatal Push now. We do take a damage for this. We do get a damage in, so essentially even. And then next turn we do our Jarsil thing. And that way we can also Fatal Push something. Nice, I'm down to take out an Elvish Mystic for sure. We'll take a damage here, auto pay. Bam, bam. And we're just 1 mana away from being able to cast Jace. Alright. Could have gotten a damage in by using the Mana Confluence, but that would just bring us even with our opponent. It's neither here nor there. Okay, so I'm thinking Breeding Pool is a good thing to just drop in here. I can get an uncounterable Jace here. I guess I will Jace -2.
Emotions are distractions.
Milling ourselves.
Focus on the facts. I will clear your...
Nice, and we have Kethis in our hand. That feels pretty good. We get a Rona out here. Love to see that. And we'll offer the trade with Jarsil. See if our opponent wants to give up some of their mana to avoid us casting a 3-drop next turn. Okay, and I think we'll definitely just block with Rona. I'd like to keep Jace alive. Let's go ahead and mill ourselves first. Ooh, no 3-drop, unfortunately. We can Fatal Push, but we don't have something to leave the battlefield, unfortunately. Nothing that I can Legend Rule, so that's a bit unfortunate. If I were to let Jace die somehow, well, I can't even do that. So it is what it is. I think I could just play a Kethis here. And then what would I even want to get back with the Kethis, if anything? Maybe a Rona? I'd have to exile 1 Rona, 1 Jace. I do have a Jace in hand. That would allow me to cast my own Rona for 2. That would take 5 mana, which I can just barely do. So let's cast Kethis. Auto pay with everything. Let's go ahead and exile 1, 2. And we will cast our Rona. Only costs 1. Love to see that. And we even actually could play a Jace here. I'm down to pay a little bit of life here to make this happen. Let's go ahead and mill ourselves for 2 more. And wow, we actually found another Kethis, which means that Fatal Push can be on, and I have the Mox Amber as well. That is nuts. We'll keep this one, and then we will go ahead and Fatal Push the Llanowar Tribe now. And then I don't have a 3-drop to play. I don't need to Legend Rule my Kethis. We'll decline this. And Jarsil will stay at 3 intensity, so if they do deal with our Kethis, we can Jarsil him back out. Yeah, Vorinclex, not amazing. Luckily our Jace can kind of neutralize him, so that's good. Alright, and we're just looking for some value here. The funny thing is if they do end up using our Jace to, or if they end up attacking down our Jace, it's not the end of the world because we do have this other one in hand, and even if we didn't have the one in hand, we'd just be able to cast it out of the grave with Kethis. So it's kind of annoying for them to really interact with us at all. We find Kin in here, which is great. We will respond to this trigger and make sure that we draw and discard a card with our Rona. We get rid of the Blood Crypt, we don't need that. And here comes Kinnan. Let's see what we want to do here. We could activate Kinnan. This is one thing that could happen. We could also just go ahead with another Rona and see if we want to do anything. Or we could just play our own Jace and mill ourselves for a bunch and try to win. And actually, yeah, since we have double Mox Amber, that's exactly the move. So we'll go like this. Make sure we're paying the full price for Jace. Draw this card with Rona is essentially a free mill, so we'll do that. And let's go ahead and keep this Jace, milling ourselves for 5. And now we're off to the races. I think this should essentially be a combo here. We're going to activate Kethis, getting rid of Crucius and backup Kethis. Alright, so now we'll loop our Mox Amber for a bit since we're not super high up on mana. We'll continue to mill ourselves with Rona, essentially. Here is Mox Amber, and we will Rona again. Alright, make some mana with our Mox Amber here before we cast the other one. There it is. Untap Rona, keep this Mox Amber, tap it for green. Draw a card, discard a card. Alright, then we need to activate Kethis again, but we'll just go ahead and probably do our Jace now, I suppose. Alright, mill ourselves.
Take note of all your failures.
And yeah, we have our opponent now.
All your
So let's go ahead and Kethis activation. I saw another Mox Amber come over, so we'll get rid of Emery and Jarsel. Here's a Mox Amber. Activate Rona. And actually we have nothing in hand anymore, so we just cast Jace and win. Cool, so that was our round 2. We comboed again. Let's hop into round 3. Alright, here we go. This is round 3, currently undefeated with our Kethis combo. This one is unfortunately our first bad hand. We have no green for Jarsel or Delated Halfling, which is pretty important, so we'll mill this one. This hand does have the colors. It's a bit slow on the things to do, but this is fine. I'll keep it. Get rid of a Jace. We can get going and attempt to cast a Crucius on turn 3. Alright. So I'm thinking that I'll probably just discard one of these lands here, probably. Here's Plaza of Heroes. Here is Crucius. Oh, they might have a counterspell for this. Ooh, Syncopate for 1. That's going to exile as well. Let's get our Mox Amber out then. We want to make sure that this doesn't get exiled by our opponent. And now Kethis is not a really great play here, unfortunately. We can go ahead and just do the Jace setup. And I guess maybe I'll just slow roll this instead. If I wait to play this Breeding Pool, then we'll have the ability to get around to Spell Pierce. And Syncopate for 2. Impulse, you got it. So it looks like this is Azorius Flash. We'll have to get around this taxing effect and then deal with some bouncing, most likely. Now that we have backup Kethis, I'm going to deploy one of them. I imagine this gets counterspelled or taxed in some way. Okay. They Memory Deluge, so they're actually looking for an answer here. I would be happy to play a Jace this coming turn. Let's see if they try to destroy my Kethis. We will just go ahead and attack in. And at some point I need to play my Jace. I suppose it'll be now. We will cast it like this. We can pay for 1 instance of Spell Pierce. Or we can pay for Syncopate equals 3. So they'll have to use all their mana to Syncopate for 4. Okay, so I will just use this to draw a card, basically.
focus on the facts.
That's not the worst thing that could happen. I'll take a base for absence. We do get a mill off with Jace at the very least. And it wastes them a card.
We can improve upon your
We got Mana Confluence coming in. We can Kethis at some point, but I'm thinking that that time is probably not now. Maybe I draw a card, maybe I try to play a Kinnan. I think for now I'll just draw a card on their end step. We can play this one a bit slow. Another Impulse out of my opponent. As long as they don't play too many exile effects, I can deal with this matchup. But if they can exile all my Kethises and Mox Ambers, then that's when I'll really start to be in trouble. This may be an instance where I want to mill my opponent. Since they do seem to be drawing a decent amount of cards, it's going to take me 3 Jaces in order to do that. So we'll activate this card draw. And I wonder what my opponent's threats are going to be. We're drawing our 3rd Kethis here, which is just kind of an issue. Emery is huge. I do want to play an Emery. We'll see if they'll let me have this one. Emery is here literally just for the ETB ability, and for every once in a while doing some Mox Amber shenanigans. So to take 3 mana for an Urtai's Scorn seems pretty solid. Let's activate Kethis, and let's see what we want the most. Probably Crucius, so I think I get rid of Kinnan and Emery. This way we can also cast both of these cards. Even if they kill Kethis now, it's fine. Here is Crucius. See if they'll counter this, and then if not, we have Jace to mill ourselves for more. Looks like they have one more counter spell here. We'll go ahead and move to combat. I would like to see them use some more of their mana here. We'll cast the Jace into a counter spell. See what happens. Yeah, Syncopate was the thing that I was scared about. We've seen 2 of them so far, and they have not taken out anything that's like super bad for us. It's just been 1 Jace, 1 Crucius. So we'll end turn here, discarding our Kethises. And for Kethis, I think we want to just go Greater here. We've picked the wrong Jace, but that's okay. I think I'll try to discard this Jace to Crucius, and then just hope that my opponent eventually taps out. They're doing a good job here of keeping us stuck on our mana. Now if I look at the amount of blue that I can produce, it's quite a lot. So I would have been fine to activate this clue last turn. Okay, so I think that a Jarcel would have been good if I had things in the graveyard, but I don't. So I'll move to combat, swing in for 3, and then probably play Jace in my post-combat main. They go to 10. Here's a Jace. Surprised they let us get this off. We get a card and mill 2. It's fine if they just delete our Jace. Not super amazing plays so far. Jarcel now kind of good to get our Delighted Halfling back. I think I'll probably just try to play a Jace here, see if they have their 3rd Syncopate. We want to kind of... Okay, this is not the worst thing. Wandering Emperor is fine.
Feel the energy of battle.
Alright, so we lose a Crucius. And we will mill ourselves for how much is the question. I think I'll start drawing cards with our Jace. Play it a bit slow. We have double Mox Amber, so if they tap out and we're allowed to have our Kethis, we go infinite. We will have to see what happens. If they make a Samurai,
Keep watch for intruders.
we will need to Fatal Push during our turn. Karn's Silex. Destroy non-land permanent, that's fine. So let's go ahead and Jace. Well, we don't want to use this Jace just yet. I'll draw a card off of my other Jace. And we need to bait them into using the rest of their mana somehow. So I will Shock into Blood Crypt. I will play a Rona. It would be nice if I could activate her, but I can't, so she'll just kind of be the bait card. See if they want to let me have this. Okay, I'm allowed to have it. Here is a Jarcel. I'm hoping that this is what they counter. If they just spend 3 mana to get rid of Jarcel, we are looking chill. Let me have my Jarcel, okay. There's Fatal Push on their creature. Can I have that? Now I realize that we are actually 1 mana off of Kethis, so that's kind of annoying. I will then mill myself for 2 more. And Karn's Silex is going to be a problem here next turn. They're just going to wipe our board, but we'll have Kethis after the fact. So this will be... They might destroy for 4, taking 4 mana, so they'll only have 2 left over. So I'm going to draw a card and then we'll let them do what they're gonna do with their turn. I do get to cast something. Fatal Push or Delighted Halfling. Is it worth it getting our... Oh yeah, wait, it's definitely worth it to get our... All-in permanent with value extra less. We're gonna lose a Mox Amber though. Oh wait, no, this is just a destroy effect. Okay, I thought it was exile. So I'm deciding whether or not I should play a Delighted Halfling here. I think the answer is yes, assuming that it doesn't get exiled. So I'm down. And then that gets Jarsel able to cast a 2-drop next, which once they destroy Rona would have been nice, but it's also going to destroy Jarsel, so we'll store him in the graveyard at Intensity 2, and that can bring back a Rona, and then eventually a Kethis. Okay, so Karn Silex for 4, it looks like. We got it. Let's go ahead and draw a card. Okay, so they have to have a hard counter spell for exactly 2 mana.
Until we figure out a solution. Must be found.
Alright, here is Jace. Let me just double check the mana cost on this. We will... Okay, well... Fine, Auto Tapper's gonna Auto Tap, it's okay. I will mill 2.
Is wasted. You cannot.
Actually, I'll mill 3, won't I? No, I'll still mill 2 for 1 more.
We can.
There's Emery, and I get 3 cards, huge. Here is a Kinnan. Let's see if they'll let me have this. Oh, actually, I don't want it to be a Kinnan. Well, I can go ahead and try to get my Kethis out, but is that going to be a good idea? We're down to 18 cards, and I have 1 Jarsil and my 3 other Kethises in the graveyard. So if this Kethis doesn't hit the battlefield, I need to hit with Jarsel. I think this might be the point where we just say, let's go for it. Actually, maybe not. I don't want to get Spell Piercer, so I'll play Kinnan instead. We gotta really dance around our opponent for this Kethis thing. Down to 18 cards. It's an impulse. I hope that I did not just throw the game by not getting a Kethis out. We'll end turn and let our opponent go. I probably should have just played Kethis there. Like, I can find my other Jarsils. Oh, alright. Looks like I could have just comboed there and missed my window. I think my opponent was probably just not having anything to do there. So we were getting good card draw off of Jace. We were getting some good value in terms of damage off of our 3 power on the board. That was a 4-turn clock that I guess my opponent didn't think they could get out of. So we take that one, and that is round 3 in the bag. Let's hop into round 4. Alright. We are undefeated going into round 4. This hand has no acceleration, but does have a Mox Amber, so we are halfway to infinite mana with this Kethis in hand. We have Jarsel with Fatal Push to loop that, so I think I'm happy to keep this. We will hide the fact that we're on Legends for at least 1 turn. Wow, we got double Mox Amber, so that is definitely something we can be doing. Let's go ahead and get Plaza of Heroes out. Say go. Wily Goblin, okay. So it looks like this is just a Goblin combo deck, which means that I'm going to be completely fine to do what I want to do. So all we got to do is find a way to mill ourselves, and things are going to look good. I'll move to my turn, and we will just go ahead and get a Citadel out. Probably just cast our Jarsel. Nothing that we need to do in terms of casting anything, but I guess I will get a Mox Amber out for some mana. Pass the turn. Jarsel no trigger. And we'll save our Fatal Push for some of their more annoying creatures. Runebelt Hordemaster, Skirk Prospector, Goblin Warchief definitely is one. I can Legend Rule my Mox Ambers to turn on Fatal Push. But in this case, maybe I'll just go ahead and do a Jace Wielder of Mysteries thing. We can set up our graveyard.
Manipulation of the mind.
Alright, and we do find a land. We can Mana Confluence and Fatal Push. If we do the Mox Amber Legend Rule thing. I think I'm going to save this for my next turn, because if they play a second annoying creature, then I will just Legend Rule Mox Amber, cast Fatal Push, and then Jarsil cast Fatal Push. We will let them attack here. I don't need a halfling right now. So we'll keep his intensity at 1 for now. That's a really huge angle for Jarsil, is the fact that you can kind of choose when you want to take that up. They do get to Goblin Matron. We'll see what they find. Hopefully it is just not Muxus next turn. Okay, it looks like Muxus is coming down next turn. This means that my MO is going to be killing Goblin Warchief stat, and then we're just going to try to combo. So if they attack all in... Ooh, they didn't even attack all in. That's nice. Okay, so I think that we should first mill ourselves. We have not a whole lot going for us right now. Rona can help us set up. I'm gonna need to do Kethis things. So let's make black mana. Make black mana. Let's make green. Oh, I think I did this backwards. That's annoying. We'll cast our Mox Amber. Legend Rule the original. And yeah, okay, the mana does work out. It's fine. Here is Fatal Push on Warchief now. And then it doesn't really matter what we do for the other one, so I might just cast the Delighted Halfling instead. And Plaza of Heroes for some reason. What color am I missing? Green, white, and black? Darn, white and black is what I cannot make. Okay, so we're missing out on Kethis this turn, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and get this Delighted Halfling back, since none of these 1/1s are really that impactful to their board. We're happy to chump with Rona because we get that back for free next turn, and I'm down to just not block with Jarsil, or to save Jarsil to block, so no attacks. Kind of a roundabout way of getting there, but you know what I mean. Here's Muxus. We just gotta hope for a bad hit here. That's a very good hit. Looks like we're dead. Yeah, so if that all goes at face, I think I cannot do anything but accept defeat. Big Muxus, so we can basically block here, eat one, chump one, and we're dead. Alright, well, sometimes Muxus hits, sometimes he doesn't. This is a time where he did very much hit. Alright, we finally got showed what's up in round 4. Round 5 coming up, stay tuned, one more to go. Alright, we're in the final round here. And this one's got a pretty good start. I think anything with a Delighted Halfling I'm happy to see. So I guess I'll just keep this one then. Does have a little pain in this mana confluence, but we're going to use that. Alright, so this is turn 3 Crucius, or sorry, turn 2 Crucius. Oh, maybe not. Okay, so we lose that to a Fatal Push. And now we're in a situation where we're kind of hoping that we find another land. That will make or break what we're doing here. Looks like we'll be paying for Phyrexian mana for Jace. Oh, nice. Okay, so we get this. I'm thinking that we just run out one of our duplicate Jaces. Not okay. I mean, we're down to 14 already. This is kind of painful. If our opponent can counter this, that's good for them. Looks like they can't, so I will mill myself and draw a card. Alright, so they know that we're on Kethis combo now. I would have preferred to mill that Jace and keep that Kethis, but it is what it is. So next turn, let's see, what are we thinking? I probably just Crucius and then Jace going down, or discarding Jace Wielder of Mysteries going down. Opponent on blue-black, looks like Control. I assume they play Bowmasters. Looks like this is just instant speed deck. Wonder what they're thinking of playing here. It could be Drown in the Lock on my Jace. They definitely have something at instant speed here. I'm inclined to play my Jarsil. Let's just +1, targeting nothing, cast Jarsil.
You can be made to obey.
I'm not thinking about this one. I don't know if this is what they want to counter or not, but okay. Alright, and we'll cast Delighted Halfling here off of Jarsil. See if my opponent lets that happen. They do. So now we're representing potentially 5 mana next turn. Vendilion Click, okay. We'll probably just take away my Kethis. This is definitely just blue-black control. Vendilion Click being a 3-1 is kind of convenient when we have Jace on the battlefield, so we can lock it out when it comes to damage. Oh, no we can't. It's like they cast that on my end step. So it looks like we lose our Jace. We have another one to cast next turn, so that's fine. No 2-drop, unfortunately. Delighted Halfling is huge. This will get us around counter magic. We have 4 in the graveyard. We're pretty short of that 20 mark for Jace. I think I'm still on Crucius here. If they somehow kill one of my creatures, then I have Fatal Push to take care of Vendilion Click. For that reason, I'm not super hot on playing a Planeswalker. Play land. And I think we just go ahead and attack with Jarsil. See what happens. That blocks. Basically, I'll hold Fatal Push until they kill one of my creatures, and then I'll use that as a way to go 1-for-1 with their Vendilion Click. I think I'll feel happy about the way that that outcome ends up happening no matter what. They let me hit him for 3, it looks like. I will cast a Crucius, and we have Mana Confluence open for Fatal Push. Probably should have cast this with Delighted Halfling. This is a situation where I'm just asking them if they want to counter Crucius, which for the most part I don't want them to. If this is Orcish Bowmasters to kill Crucius on my end step, I'd feel pretty sad. At least I'm getting this ability onto the stack right now. I will discard my Jace. We will choose Expedient, and we have double Fatal Push now. And we have a Fatal Push that can be triggered off of the sacrifice of our treasure token. So this is definitely pretty good. My next turn, I think I'll cast Jace uncountable with Delighted Halfling. Vendilion Click. Okay, so I can interrupt this. Get rid of their click. Let's see if they have something else for that. They do not. And if they flash anything in, then I will Fatal Push that as well. Brazen Borrower. We'll resolve this and then kill it. Alright. I think that was a pretty good interaction for us. Our opponent's left with no board. They have to develop, otherwise they take 7 next turn, and then I'll also have Jace coming down. We even have backup Crucius if that becomes a thing that we need to do. They shock in. For 5 mana, what could they have? Probably double spell is what I'm expecting to see. So it's either another Vendilion Click or possibly another Brazen Borrower in hand is more likely. We haven't found our 2-drops yet, so Jarsel is stuck at 2. For that reason, I'm okay if he dies. Alright, and I think it's probably just cast Uncounterable Jace time. Let me make sure that this is indeed used for blue. Even I'm sure it was going to be, but we'll hold full control here to make sure that our opponent doesn't get priority before we can mill ourselves for 5. And actually, yeah, I guess I could have done that for, like, not 5. Could have maybe done it for 4. But it's okay. So now we have the ability to get a Kinnan out with Jarsel. And then I believe we do have a Kethis in the graveyard as well. So I'm feeling pretty solid about this. I actually didn't see if we had a Rona as well. Did we? We do. So the question is Kinnan or Rona? And actually in this situation it's Rona because we don't have anything that taps for mana other than the Delighted Halfling. So maybe I could have kept the Kinnan. It is what it is. Let's see. They're gonna get Thieves Guild Enforcer here to trade with my Jarsel, I believe. That's fine. Jarsel getting back Jarsel is a potential thing that could happen. I think I'll get rid of my Crucius and then just go lower. We'll find either a land or one of the other interesting things that we need. I could go Jace down, but I think I'd rather go Crucius down and then possibly up on that card that I get. On our next turn, Rona is going to be pretty useful here. I'll discard Crucius, we go Expedient, and we do find a land. The jury's out on whether or not I even want to play this land. I think next turn I do Uncounterable Jace. We're going to Takenuma for what? Maybe Thieves Guild again? No, Vendilion Click. Okay, so we're going to lose our Jace, which is kind of annoying. Okay, so they're going to let me draw, and then they're going to Vendilion Click me. Well, that's unfortunate. They're going to be able to get Kethis out of my hand, but that means I do get to keep my Jace, so I'm okay with that. Alright, what are we losing? They take our Kethis, that makes a lot of sense. And now we get to go to our main phase. I'm almost certainly going to be playing Mox Amber here. Let's do a Rona activation. And I could actually transform Rona, which is definitely a decent thing. Whenever Source deals damage to her, she's a 5/5. Yeah, I mean, having that beatdown plan could be kind of nice. Let's do Plaza of Heroes, Mox Amber. Let's draw and discard. I think I'm probably just keeping Jace no matter what. Yeah, get rid of this Plaza of Heroes. Cool. Mox Amber. So I have 5 and then only... Oh yeah, so I can actually Jace. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. Jace. On the Phyrexian side, go to 10. Yup, and then I have 5 paying another Phyrexian for Rona. We'll draw this card. Nice, clearing away some lands, that's huge. And then this will be Transform Rona. Pay the Phyrexian for this. And do they have the instant speed removal for Rona? It's got to be the last card they kept. Alright, we got it. We're going to go ahead and Jace minus on Vendilion Click so that we can get in for all of our damage. And it looks pretty solid. Let's go ahead and pass. Alright, so they take away something with our Cling to Dust. They go to 4, though. Nothing to discard for our Crucius, so we kind of just bunker down here, and our opponent needs to produce a creature or remove Rona. Alright, so they're swinging through. We even have our Kethis now, which is great. We'll continue to do the same thing with their Vendilion Click. Just tick up our Jace, and if this doesn't turn out the way that we want it to, then we have like a big Jace to mill ourselves with. So let's move to combat. I say we just go in with Rona and Crucius and see if they can deal with that. And then, if not, we just combo. Soaring Thought Thief, sure. So they'll have to double block Rona. Oh, alright, well, it looks like they're dead. Oh, Cling to Dust something, okay. And they Cling to Dust our Fatal Push, which is interesting. Do I have a Kinnan in the graveyard yet? Yes, I do. And then do I have my other Mox in here? Yes, I do. Okay, so this should be a combo here. I think I got them. Okay, so we have only 21 cards left in deck. They go to 2. Rona triggers, or sorry, Rona does not trigger. Exiles a card from their hand at random, right? Okay, so here's Kethis. Kethis activation. We'll get rid of Crucius. And we have Mox Amp, so we have actually, yeah, okay. Well, opponent says that they're done, so we had them anyway. If I were to take a look at what was in my graveyard, I would definitely want to have, where's Kinnan? Yeah, so I'd play Kinnan first, and then go with our Mox Ambers, and then we would just have a few Jaces into other Jace, and that would be the game. Opponent had nothing left in hand and only 1 mana up, so that was a pretty solid play. Okay, so we found our lines in almost every game there against a pretty big variety of decks there. So I think this was an all-around fun video to play for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like these kind of videos and want to support the channel, you can do so by dropping a like on the video and subscribing if you are new. It really helps me out a lot. With that being said, I'll see you in the next video, and hope you have a good one. Peace out.